Paris, the French capital. You'd be hard-pressed to find a place where quite so many conflicting expectations are placed on the modern Western woman. Home to a fashion industry that can be described as liberating and oppressive in the same breath, and somehow all wrapped up in notions of just what it means to be French. No small wonder, then, that the Me Too movement, so overtly American in genesis, had a rocky welcome in France to begin with. But in recent months, there has been a regrouping, along with a video that went viral.
You freeze. Even if you know how to fight, you can freeze. So that's what happened, but I knew he was going to punch me.
In July, 22-year-old Marie Laguerre told a man making lewd suggestions to her in the street to shut up. First, he threw an ashtray at her. Then he followed her and punched her in the head, to the evident shock of those who witnessed it. Her assailant was allowed to carry on his way, but the owner of a nearby cafe had it on tape.
I was very lucky that he gave me the video because he helped me press charges, and then I also posted it on social media with a text. I explained how it made me feel, how it's a systematical thing that happens to all women, that I don't have a single friend who it didn't happen to.
Her ordeal coincides with new laws against sexual harassment in the street just coming into effect in France, giving police the power to impose on-the-spot fines. They're part of the French President Emmanuel Macron's pledge to champion gender equality. He took a page out of Justin Trudeau's book when he was elected in 2017, filling half his cabinet with women and calling the fight against sexism a cultural battle in France. Most critics, Laguerre included, agree he'll have to fight a lot harder, that a law against public catcalling does nothing to change behavior behind closed doors.
It sends a strong message. It's a symbol, but it's more of a symbol that's something that can actually be applied.
The answer to the Me Too movement here was something called #Balance ton porc, rat out your pig, a message to French women to speak up, something that hasn't always been culturally easy to do here.
Witness the backlash that took place against it last January, when more than 100 prominent French women, including the iconic Catherine Deneuve, denounced the Me Too movement as having gone too far in a manifesto published in Le Monde newspaper. Rape is a crime, they wrote, but trying to seduce someone, even persistently or cack-handedly, is not, nor is being gentlemanly a macho attack. Men have been punished summarily or forced out of their jobs when all they did was touch someone's knee or try to steal a kiss.
You are building a narrative of victimhood.
Journalist Anne-Elisabeth Moutet is one of the signatories, anti-feminists according to their critics. Moutet refuses the moniker or to apologize, saying the Me Too movement has succumbed to American prudery, with the potential to roll back the sexual freedoms won by previous generations of French feminists.
I think women and men can be friends. We like flirting without anything coming out of it. We like sex without, slut-shaming anyone. And we like the whole grey area in between where you do not know yet whether things are going to happen or not.
It's known in France as la galanterie, part of the art of seduction. The philosopher Geneviève Fraisse calls it a very old story in France.
It's the end of love if we have gender equality. Well, gender equality is a contradiction with seduction, love, whatever.
But love it or hate it, says Fraisse, Me Too has changed something in France. Young women in particular no longer afraid to call themselves feminists, as she does.
Me Too is an event with a capital E. I believe in this new generation.
And it's a generation talking about Beyoncé. One sign that the distance between American and French discourse on feminism isn't as wide as you might think. This is a launch party for a new book asking the question, is Beyoncé a feminist? It's billed as a handbook for young people who want to learn about feminism, from the great French thinker Simone de Beauvoir to, yes, Beyoncé. Young women say Me Too has started a different kind of conversation here.
I think that in France we have quite a conservative culture, and it's difficult to change people's habits and behaviors.
Co-author Raphaël Ramey-Leleu is also critical of the anti-Me Too letter.
We teach women to distrust each other, to judge each other, and so sisterhood is also a first step in order to create a more equal society.
The canvas of inequality across France, of course, is by no means limited to sex. But it is another reason some critics have railed against the French letter, the notion of privilege lecturing women without. Cécile Farah runs tours of feminist street art in Paris.
Upper class or middle class women, and also educated women and white women, they couldn't talk for the whole of society.
And Marie Laguerre, now an activist with a cause, agrees.
So I don't think they have a very clear view about this shitty society we live in. And then I think they don't know what they're talking about. I think they completely don't know.
But given the challenges still ahead in achieving gender equality in France, women on both sides of that letter do have common cause, especially given the many still unfulfilled promises of the Macron government. And there is common cause, too, on both sides of the Atlantic. Margaret Evans, CBC News, Paris.